Okay, there we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is the 5th episode now.
Think so.
5th episode of the OxBro show. Today, just going to kind of be an open podcast, I'd say.
Yeah.
We're sitting here bullshitting and, opening up a little bit. Giving thanks for Thanksgiving. This is like our, I guess this is, well, if we're going to do another video, I guess this won't be the Thanksgiving.
I was going to say, because we got to have some kind of holiday we dress up for.
Yeah.
And I would not be against putting on some of them good old buckled shoes.
Yep, cowboy hats.
No, I'm thinking more pilgrim hat. Buckled shoes with the matching on the hat.
Yeah, I guess that would make more sense.
No, you have to be the Indian.
It'd make more sense for me. I am a little mixed, guys.
With what? We don't know.
Me neither. Just know my dad's really tan. But, all right. So, I wanted to open up with a question with you.
Uh-oh.
And it's kind of, I guess it's a little deep right off the rip, but I guess it won't hurt anything. But I kind of, since we're close to Thanksgiving, kind of making it a time of reflection, as it kind of should be, I guess, to kind of look back on the things you're thankful for and that sort of thing. So I wanted to ask you, and I know, and I want everybody to know too, I didn't ask him beforehand, so there's no preparation for his answer. And it might take him a second to respond, but can you recall, like, your favorite memory in life in general? Like where you were at your...
No, about a favorite one, like my happiest
Yeah, your
moment?
happiest moment. Your most memorable moment that you're like, man, I don't think I could have ever been more happy or, grateful for that moment.
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's kind of like a per person basis.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I've had some of my happiest moments with my Grandma Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some of my happiest moments with my dad, with my mom.
Yeah.
My brothers even sometimes.
Yeah. Depends on which brother. Just kidding. But
yeah, if I think back, I guess at a time when I was like my most grateful and content with everything.
I wanted to hit you with a hard one right off the rip.
That is a tough one,
and that's,
right off the bat, man.
That's one of two that I have.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like, I feel like some of my happiest and best moments have been outside of high school, like after graduating and everything.
Definitely.
Once I was outside of the house and kind of figuring things out on my own.
Yeah.
But when I think back to a time, where I was just blissfully ignorant, I'd have to be younger. Maybe when I was like about 10 or 11 years old would be like my most content time overall.
Yeah, I think that's about, 10 or 11 years old. I would probably say like 8 or 9 for me.
Yeah.
Was the best, because 10 or 11 is when like I kind of started losing loved ones. That's where it like started.
Yeah.
So, and then, I don't know, those were the ages when I started like maturing fast or having to.
Yeah.
So like 8 or 9 for me would probably be the best times for sure.
Because like at that age, you're coherent and conscious enough to like learn things and be curious and explore like what the world has to offer, to your limitations with what you can get from your parents.
Yeah.
But then like you get a little older than that and people kind of start to treat you like you should know better on a lot of things, even things you've never been introduced to.
Yeah, and I seen that's kind of like, I seen this quote today, or this guy talking about how when you raise your kids, you shouldn't raise them to not, it wasn't to not lie, but he was saying if your child lies, you can't tell them don't lie, but rather tell them, if I can't trust you, I can't protect you.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a good way.
When you do need to spare people's feelings.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. But like, certain situations, it's like you have to be honest, especially with your parents when you're younger, or
Yeah.
else they can't have your back, in a lot of different situations, especially in
Yeah.
school, especially kids nowadays. It's like you don't know what you're going to get yourself into. I can't imagine being in school now.
That and like being a kid, I think like, man, my dad yelled a lot
Mm-hmm.
and he would yell loud. But then it's like you start to see it from a different perspective as an adult
Oh,
because
for
it's like,
sure.
one, we're just human, so it could have just been a bad day for them.
Yep.
And then the other side of it is like, because Tanner and I even had to explain this to our mom the other day is
Mm-hmm.
like, when I tell you something, just listen the first time because I want to be able to trust that if it's a dire situation, when I
Mm-hmm.
do tell you something, there's not going to be a back and forth. You're not going to
Yeah.
question me. You're not going to second guess me,
Yep.
you know?
But I think some of that's earned too,
Oh,
to a
yeah,
certain extent.
definitely.
Like
Definitely.
I would, we've been friends for
When it
10
comes
years,
from people
you
to
know.
people, yeah, but like within your own family,
Yeah.
like unless you lose it, unless you've
Yeah.
lost the trust
Yeah.
to be able to do that, you should be able to kind of trust your own family to
Mm-hmm.
listen when you tell them something that
Yeah,
you're
for
serious
sure.
about.
For sure. But yeah, as like an adult now too, it's like, like I said, we've been friends for 10 plus years,
I know. I just got a thing
so
on Facebook about it.
yeah.
9 years ago, some memory popped up.
So it's like, we've been friends long enough that if I'm like, Ian, we like have to do this or we're screwed.
Yeah.
I would hope that you would trust that like I
There
would
wouldn't
if you
be
told
like
me something
a,
like that.
but even like there wouldn't be a why from
Yeah,
me. Like
no.
if I could tell you were serious, it needs
Mm-hmm.
to be done now. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'll ask
Yeah.
questions after the fact.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way. If you're like, yeah, man, I don't know what kind of situations we can describe here on YouTube, but
Yeah, but if
yeah,
something serious were
yeah,
happen, like I would want to know
yeah,
that you have that level of trust with certain people.
for sure, for sure. Okay, let me hit you with another one now. Um, so what would you tell your past self? And I know that's like a cliche question that like everybody kind of always asks, but like if you could, go back and talk to, we'll say 15, 14-year old you, is there anything you would tell yourself?
That's a tough one because like what comes to mind is care less, but I don't mean it to sound like that.
Yeah,
Maybe just don't get so hung up on the small things because like I feel like when I was a teen, like yeah, I was really tired a lot and didn't
yeah.
seem like I cared a lot because I was always just kind of quiet, shy, and kept to
Mm-hmm.
myself. But yeah, I was definitely like a people pleaser. And I
Yeah,
know everybody is to like a little bit of an extent,
yeah,
but yeah, I wish like just certain things I wish I would have enjoyed more rather than worrying like, oh,
yeah,
am I going to be judged for it? Is it
yeah,
going to cost me in the long run? Is it
yeah. That's fair.
or like one of the biggest things because I was even talking to Tanner about it the other night. I love video games to death, and
Mm-hmm.
like if you play the right ones, you can learn a lot from
Yeah,
them. They're great for
yeah.
entertainment. They're great for even like a therapeutic kind of
Oh,
sense.
without a doubt, without a
So like
doubt.
I'm not saying I wish I'd never touched them, but I do often think of like, man, what if I would have spent that time picking up an instrument
Yeah,
or learning like a
yep.
trade
I thought
or
about that a
like
lot
learning
too.
a skill on the computer, like learning how to mix music or, just
Mm-hmm.
something that I enjoy.
Yeah, because I didn't. I mean, I played a lot of video games when I was younger, but it like didn't really come full in until I was probably 15 or 16. Like I didn't really start gaming. I mean, because I
Uh,
always had well, before like all my concussions and stuff, I always had the idea that I was going to play college football without a doubt. But
yeah.
so that's all I could think about. That's all I wanted to do 24/7. I mean, I play video games if the weather was too bad, but even when the weather was too bad, I was outside doing some shit constantly, trying to improve my 40 time, even though that was like,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, I want to make sure I can run these routes better, that I can, got these different swim moves down and the rips to be able to get through the line and all that kind of bullshit. So, yeah, gaming wasn't really as much in my life until I was probably like 15, 16.
Yeah. And so yeah, and then that's the other side of that coin is like, what if I hadn't done gaming, which has been such an influential part of
Yeah.
my life, and instead got into, learning an instrument,
Yeah.
and like it was my dream to be, lead guitarist for a huge band this
Hmm.
time, but like that didn't happen. And then I'm
Yeah.
super let down from that fact. How could my life have turned out if that's the way things
Yeah.
went? I think
Yeah.
about that
But
too.
then again, I feel like it opens your mind a little bit. You're almost watching, and when you're playing a game, you're basically like watching it like a fantasy world. Like it's not obviously, or a virtual world is, I guess, the more correct term to
Yeah.
describe it. But it's like I feel like you're seeing inside of like the creators' minds a little bit, which kind of broadens your mind in turn because you know somebody sat there, used their own creativity to like build these video games, and you get to see like a different kind of side of people. Like with Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm playing it again,
Yeah.
and the emotion that some of the characters have, and just like the map design in itself, it's like, man, these people really love their craft.
Yeah.
You can
You
you
could
grow to
tell it was a
admire those.
passion
Yeah,
project.
yeah, it wasn't just thrown together. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
I even noticed last night when you're walking through the snow is moving, and then like the dialogue with all the different characters that are in the game. It's like, wow.
Yeah. And that's why I say, like, if you play the right ones, you can learn a lot
Yeah,
from them. Like, I attribute a big part of my vocabulary, which I know isn't that great, but what little there is to it,
yeah.
I attribute to playing so many video games as a kid because I played a lot of like the old role playing games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I wish I would have got more into those because I played Fallout 4 for the first time just this last year.
Yeah.
And I have never played Skyrim. It's always been like those mindless shooters.
Yeah.
And not to say anything against, people that play shooters, but it doesn't, I don't really know how to explain it without it not sounding shitty. Because I love them. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love them.
Well,
But
like
it,
back when they had a great campaign, like that and they're great for hand-eye coordination, I
yeah,
suppose. So even then, they're
yeah,
training something. But when you're just mindlessly kind of shooting and going after that kill all day, and you're just playing in that competitive scene, you're not.
yeah,
You're only learning what the game has, you know, that the game easily advertises to you. The
yeah.
different perks, abilities, guns, things like that. You're
Hmm.
not really learning the subtle, like being able to solve puzzles, the figuring out what these big words mean in the
Yeah,
dialogue because you want to know what the heck they're talking
yeah.
about,
and
like
I
those little things.
and I didn't realize how good I was at those kinds of things until I played. What was it? I think it was Superliminal. Superliminal, I think is how it's
I think I
called.
have
That
heard of that
game was
one.
so like interactive, and you had to like do
Yeah.
this to make this smaller, and then once you made that smaller, you had to figure out how to get it up to the top, then figure out if something's magnetized in the room, and it's like that game. Oh, it was nothing but brain, nothing
Yeah.
but brain.
Because I, and maybe it's partially just what I was born with, but I feel like it's a big reason why I'm really good at like imaginary things.
Yeah,
Like something simple, like if I'm sanding on something, I can stop it in an imaginary line. I can just
yeah,
easily visualize that line just because of how often I've had to do it in
yeah,
games.
yeah. It's even like the center point on the screen.
Yep.
Like there's so many times because people will like
I
tape their center point to
wonder.
their computer and stuff. And there's times where like I get flashed in Call of Duty, for instance, and I already know where my crosshair is, even though I can't see it, and I'll kill people.
Yep. I wonder because I felt like I've always been pretty good at finding the halfway point on
Mm-hmm.
something. I wonder if that's why, because
Yeah,
of that damn
yeah,
crosshair.
the
Staring
crosshair.
at it for
Yeah,
years.
between Halo and Call of Duty, Gears of War, I mean Battlefield, all the big shooters. I have played the shit out of those
Yeah.
without a doubt. But yeah, I wish I would have got more into those fantasy and role playing games.
Or even just more story driven. Like it doesn't, I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
could make the argument that fantasy and role playing game is worse for you because you're just learning a bunch of fantasy topics that don't really pertain to what's in
yeah.
the
But it
real
seems
world.
it seems like the like vocabulary that's used in those kinds of games are
Usually,
broader. They're
yeah,
not just the standardized words that you'd hear in like a Call of Duty campaign. I mean, which they are kind of cool, still because it's all
Yeah, they're
military
still
based.
good and they're pretty mind bending. So it does take some critical thinking to kind of
Mm-hmm.
stay along with what's happening.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
will give them that.
but in a lot of like Skyrims and Fallout's and stuff, it's like science driven.
Not only that, but like strategy is
Yeah,
such a big part of those games.
yeah,
Like, and like just coming up with a game plan, learning to prepare. It's those little things you don't really think about while you're playing that are like, man, these could translate into real life
yeah.
situations.
Oh, I get irritated when people say too, "Oh, the only reason you don't like Rainbow Six is because it's like too hard. You got to be smart to play it." And it's like that's not why I don't like it. It just
Yeah, and that's not.
it's not my cup of tea. There's
No.
strategy involved, but if I'm gonna play a shooter, like I want the instant gratification. I don't want to die in the beginning and then I have to watch everybody else have fun for the next half hour until the round's done. Like if I'm playing a shooter, it's for that instant gratification of
Yep.
lasering somebody across the map, or it's just, yeah, it's not
And then you
not for
hear
me.
the comments of like, "Oh, we'll get better, and you wouldn't be watching everybody." It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
but I have to do a whole lot of watching before I
yeah.
get better because
Like
I
I would
have to
really want to
learn the
know
game.
in the beginning how much time you spend watching somebody else play before you actually
Like,
like.
have a good round.
Yeah, yeah. Like how many of those rounds do you play before like you're actually playing the whole round?
Yeah.
That's
That's why they
so.
just need somewhere in between there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it quite as arcadey as Call of Duty, where I have to
Hmm.
put 25 out of a 30 round mag into somebody, but I don't want to die in 2 shots and then wait 45 minutes to make it up to the front lines
Yeah.
again on like a game like that. Yeah, those
Yeah.
get old.
Yeah. And I wish there was like a good battle royale.
There's been a
Terribly.
lot. You'd think they'd have, you'd think
Yeah.
they'd come out with something that would kind of stick.
I did see that Off the Grid. I haven't played that yet. That looked
No,
really good, and
you
it's
don't want to
free.
try that Super Vibe.
Well, I thought it sucked. I thought I heard it sucked.
You did?
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it. I looked at it on Steam after Alec told us about it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because he
it
said he
had
played.
very positive
He
reviews.
said he played it and he hated it.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a big battle royale guy, so I'm
Yeah.
not too excited about it anyway.
Yeah, I've played a lot of them like when they first started coming out.
Yeah.
PUBG I hated though from the get go.
Oh, I never even wanted to try that one.
No, PUBG sucked. I will say, yeah, I played Fortnite when it first came out. Apex, I was like a day oneer. I
Yeah.
played that as soon as it came out
Dude,
because it
I
was
heard a
just,
lot of people were mad about that one too. Everybody wanted a Titanfall. And they got
yeah,
Apex instead.
yeah.
I never got into the Titanfalls, but every
See, I
time I
like
see a
Titanfall.
clip of it on TikTok, I don't skip.
Yeah, I like
It's
Titanfall.
like, man, it had a good story.
Yeah, Titanfall 2 was really fun. The multiplayer was sick.
That's the other thing too, is like a game like and I know it's so weird, but a game that was so impactful for me as a kid was Halo Reach.
Halo Reach was
Because
sweet.
you play through the whole time defending your homeland, trying to save
Yeah,
Planet Reach, along with your 5 or 6 other buddies, and the whole time you think you're getting like a foothold, you think you're kind of sticking it to them and shifting the tide of battle, and then one of your teammates drops, then the next
yeah.
one, and you go through the whole time you think you got a leg up. Nope, one of your teammates goes down until you're the last one. So
That's
you're the
cool.
llike one standing and you
That's
have to
cool.
fight. And
Yeah.
like it was just like a heart-wrenching story because you really started to get like attached to those characters.
Mm-hmm. It's like you ever play that Homefront? I think it was
Yeah,
called.
that one was good.
Homefront
Where
was
it was like
sweet.
Red Dawn.
Yes, dude.
Yep.
Yes,
That
Red
one.
Dawn. Oh,
I'm surprised they haven't made more games about that because
no.
just the idea of that, I feel like a lot of people could get hyped up for,
Yeah.
especially right now during the whole Ukraine
Yeah.
Russia thing. Like,
Yeah, Red Dawn, dude. Those are classic movies for me. Both of them. I mean, I like the first one more with like Patrick Swayze and shit, but the
yeah,
second one wasn't too bad. But Josh Peck's just kind of cheesy to me.
it
And
seems
then
a little weird having him in there. He did
yeah,
good. I'm not
yeah,
knocking him for that,
yeah,
but he was on Drake and Josh way too long, so that's all I
yeah.
see him as
I
now.
know, me too. And I always feel bad for those kinds of people, you know.
Yep.
But I will say, like you have Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, and he was always portrayed as like a funnier character. For him to play
Yeah.
that serious role, I mean, he did a really good job. Or Jim Carrey in 23.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, 23 is a really good movie, and it was hard to overlook it, like watching the movie, like just because he's the funny guy. And then once you really start getting into the movie, you're like, holy shit, this is not the Jim Carrey I was thinking of.
See, and that's the other thing I've always talked about is I'm not a huge, like, I'm not a big TV watcher. I
Yeah.
have a hard time sitting there for that long and paying attention to one thing,
Yeah.
which is weird because I love games. But if you watch the right ones, you can learn an awful lot off of
Yeah.
watching TV. And there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you,
Yeah.
oh, no, TV's bad for you.
No,
Just
bullshit.
rots your brain. It does
Bullshit.
nothing beneficial. It's like there's a lot of beneficial you can get from it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detrimental things you can take from it too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on there watching nothing but, you know, My Sweet 16 and Honey Boo Boo,
Yeah, that's
you're
not.
probably
Yeah.
not you're not broaddening your
Yeah.
vocabulary with those two
Yeah,
shows.
because it's like,
Well,
shit.
maybe you might learn some new slang.
Yeah. Like I told you, I watched Gladiator, and I was doing push-ups, like right into. No, it was Troy.
Yeah.
It was Troy. I was like, man, I'm getting so hyped up, and I was just sitting there by myself watching Troy. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna crank some push-ups.
So like they can, you know, instill something in you that wasn't there before just because it's, you know, a piece of media on TV.
Yeah.
It's not the devil.
Yeah. Yeah, because I even certain clips on TikTok motivate me quick.
Yeah, and that's, you know, you'll see a lot of people talking how like, oh, too many people spend too much time envious of others on TikTok and watching other people live their life through a screen. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure there's people out there that do that and probably do take it negatively. But there's a lot of people out there too that watch that and they're like, oh, well, that guy's doing it. I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely do that.
Yeah, kind of like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of podcasts and the amount of different talk shows and stuff we've watched throughout the years. I mean, it was almost inevitable for, you know, something like this to happen.
For us to get something set up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not that, you know, I wouldn't claim to be the smartest guy or, you know, the most, you know, I don't know. I just felt like this was always kind of meant to happen just because, yeah, the amount of information we've obtained throughout the years from different documentaries and different podcasts, and we've always been interested in stuff like this, and we always shit and bullshit all the time and talk and
because even if we're dead wrong and go about it as dumb as we possibly are, we still have that curious spirit of like, well, I do want to know more. You know, I don't understand it, and it's being explained by a guy that's IQ triples mine, but I do want to know more.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't obtain information the greatest sometimes.
No, man, I got to write it down. I got to keep it saved.
Yep. Reread it 1,000 times.
Yep.
You know, or re-listen to it 1,000 times.
Or tell somebody 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's when I feel bad.
Yeah, I do too. Because, there's been a lot of times I got to repeat what I said or, wait, what'd you just tell me? You know? I feel like a prick, but I think I've just been hit in the head too many times.
I hear that, man. Which is weird because, I didn't even play football like that.
Yeah.
I had a lot of head injuries.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, from football to wrestling to, you know, any of the martial arts I did getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
I mean,
mine was just bike riding, soccer, falling down the stairs.
Shit, soccer's a bad one, dude.
Apparently,
seen soccer's from, terrible.
Doing the headers.
Yeah.
From hitting the ball with their head.
Yeah.
Well, because think like some of those, man, they'll kick it from half field.
Yeah.
And some guy dives out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Plants it right on the forehead.
Oh,
it's like,
dude.
oh, how?
Yeah, and it literally like shakes your brain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah. It's like boxing, you know, everybody always says, oh, MMA is way worse for your brain. It's like, no, boxing's actually worse.
Yeah, because MMA you can kind of get away with more of the gut punches and leg kicks and
submissions
getting into submissions. And boxing, you're only aiming for that head for the most part. Like, there's some body shots in there, but for the most part,
and
you're swinging away.
Because there's that glove, I think it like kind of shakes the brain more. You know, it's not like a solid punch, you know, so you got like weight, and when it hits, it's almost absorbing the blow and like bouncing your brain around more. I would think. I could be completely wrong, but
instead of what it should be doing is like
it's just like a solid. It's like a solid punch with like a regular fist compared to like, you know,
No, don't start talking about it. You're gonna have them wearing those stupid Guardian
Yeah,
caps
yeah.
and boxing.
But it's like if I hit my head on the like a garage door compared to like a dodgeball over and over again, I feel like the dodgeball would mess me up worse than
Just one good thwack on the
yeah.
garage door. Yeah.
Because like the bare knuckle boxing, they don't. I mean, they hit hard, but it's not the same kind of hard because they're trying to protect their
Oh,
knuckles too.
yeah. So it's not going to be such a solid hit that
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, because some of those guys, oh man, their knuckles are just jacked up after those
dude.
fights.
That's how mine are going to start looking here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
My hands do not do well in the winter.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm
All
in a
split
fist
open
fight,
and
man. Like bleeding.
you got to get some lotion, man. All right. Just
I've
bump
tried.
that.
And then I try
You
the
gotta,
working hands, but I wait until it's too late.
yeah.
And so there's already a bunch of cuts. So as soon as I
Yeah.
put it on,
Yeah,
oh,
you
it's
got to
like
quit putting
Germ-X.
lotion just on the inside of your hands and put them on the outside.
I go through a lot, man.
Try something other than Jergens once in a while. Oh, shit, man. Yeah. Man, there was another question I was trying to think of that I was going to ask you earlier, and then we've been roaming away from it.
I know you had me thrown off because I did a bunch of research on UAPs and
Oh, we can get into that. We can get into that.
Because yeah, I watched that hearing, the whole thing, and it was about 2 hours long.
Really?
Yeah, they went on for a while.
Yeah. So, what was like the general consensus of?
The general consensus, I don't know, because there were really only about maybe 10 or 15 Congress members that talked.
Yeah.
And there was a panel of about 4 or 5 that they would ask questions to. But it seemed like of those who were speaking, they were unanimous that they wanted to get this task force going. So that one of the biggest things they talked about a few times is apparently right now there's no set in stone process for like civilian pilots to report these things.
Oh, okay.
And then in the military right now, the only person that they have for military personnel to report these sightings to is like an ex counterintelligence specialist. Yeah.
That's kind of
It was
strange.
like an ex PSYOP counterintelligence specialist. So yeah, everyone on Congress was kind of iffy about that. Like,
Yeah.
why is it the one person we can go and give all of this information to
That's
used to work in PSYOPs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
and so that was one of their concerns, and the reason why they held the hearing was because a lot of government agencies are over classifying documents. So a lot of documents that they feel aren't a threat to national security
Yeah.
should be declassified so that the general public can find out what's going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so yeah, it just seems like a lot of hidden things behind closed doors.
So I wonder, with the amount of stuff like just the United States has kind of gone through over the last few years with all the different, crazy laws and crazy conspiracies. Like, I wonder what would be like the scissor on a string. Like, what's gonna be the thing that everybody like talks about and like freaks out about?
Oh, you mean like the next like Y2K or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
so like world
what's
ending or just a big
no
event?
like a big event where everybody's like talking about it. Because you see all this alien stuff, you're instantly like, well, what is that? What is that trying to mask? What's that trying to hide? They normally release something while somebody else is going to jail for this, or they come out with this to disguise that, so and then nobody sees it.
And
It's like,
that's what makes me real nervous. Is
yeah,
like what, because the next big thing that everybody is talking about means there's an even bigger thing that nobody's talking about.
yeah,
is what it sure seems like.
yeah. Or are
Like
they legitimately trying to ease us into the fact that there are aliens?
yeah.
Like, what? It's so hard to actually know, like, anything.
Yeah, because they keep so much declassified and they're not giving us any information
No.
whatsoever. And so that's one of the things they talked about is apparently there's a lot of forces within the government that don't want this stuff declassified, that they have a lot of interests into whatever's
Ah.
going on in the background. And plenty of them on that panel swore up and down that we have made contact with them multiple times, that we do communicate with them, maybe not verbally, but
Yeah.
non-verbally.
What does that mean?
Not direct like how you and I would talk to each other, but like telepathically.
I'm sorry, dude.
Is the way he described it.
Yeah.
Would be telepathically.
I don't like that at all.
No, and he said that according to him and his sources, they do have like biological evidence of aliens.
Well,
that nobody has access to.
The biological evidence doesn't scare me as much as like telepathic communication. Like I don't want, like, could I go to Lowe's and somebody be an alien and they're just reading what I'm saying in my mind?
Now the idea of that,
that's freaky. Like if there's an alien walking around, I'm okay. But
the fact that they were swearing up and down that was true. So the fact that is essentially fact in their minds is a little scarier to me, because then it shows like, okay, something's coming. Whereas telepathic communication, they could just be, blowing wind.
Yeah, but if there's, because they're always like 5 steps ahead. So if they're releasing this, that means that they probably do have something.
And that's what I was wondering the whole time watching it.
It's like, do you legitimately have a body? Do you have a living alien just like chilling in the White House right now?
I mean, maybe we don't even know about it.
Yeah, or do they look like us? Are they identical to humans?
Or could they be?
Yeah.
Like, could they change to that? Could they?
I mean, there's a lot of questions to be had from all this, because I don't know. I wouldn't be, if there are aliens, they've been around for forever. So that doesn't really scare me as much, because they could have, sent ships down, destroyed everything, 100,000 times, but they haven't. So I'm not as much scared of them as I am the things that they can do, I would say.
Yeah, because like, who are we to say the very moment when we have, like, the general public has hard and fast evidence of it, they don't swoop down here and they're like, nope, we can't have that. Reset.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I always wonder too sometimes if there's ever been like a reset.
Oh, there's still people. I mean, there's that whole conspiracy about it that we came from Mars, but a lot of people claim.
I mean, like,
too much, evidence to support it.
You ever have a day where things just like aren't the same? You ever go to sleep and wake up and it's like, the people are slightly different.
Something feels kind of off.
Yeah, something's not 100% right.
Yeah.
Like you go to a gas station, you see that same person that you've always seen every single day. But it's like it's not that their mood or emotions are any different, but it's rather that they're not the same person. Because I've had that happen to me a few times.
Feel, or is that the kind of like vibe they're giving off?
That's like the vibe that they're giving off.
Because I mean, everybody has bad and good days.
Yeah,
like,
but
some mornings, man, I just wake up and I am like, just not wanting to talk.
Yeah.
Mad at the world. Don't even know why. Don't have a reason to be, but I am.
But I mean, I always know, like, we work together. When I see you, I always know that it's you.
Yeah.
I've had interactions with people that I've always had interactions with, and it's like I'm not even talking to the same person. It's not that they're sad or they're mad or, they're depressed about something. It's like
so
they're
weird.
just, there's something so weird that they're just not even the same person. I don't know how to explain it, but I've had that happen a few times and I'm always like freaked out after the fact. It's like, that was really strange.
I've had it happen with people I don't know well enough to know whether it was that or not.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know you well enough to where if you were having an off day, I would just know it's an off day.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that, the same goes for you. Like, I would know. But I always have there's always like I have the same personality. I might be sad or mad or whatever, but I'm always like kind of the same person, even if I am having an off day. Like the same thing with
Yeah.
you. I can always sense it, but I don't know. And even some people don't even have emotions, and that freaks me out. I think more than anything else,
Yeah.
because there's been plenty of times I've talked to like a cashier at a store, or like even a waitress or something, and it there's like nobody there.
No,
It's
man.
strange.
And I mean, that's coming from me, a pretty
Yeah,
monotonous guy, but I feel
yeah,
like I make up for it in like facial
yeah,
expressions but yeah,
yeah,
some people you talk to and there's like not a thing going on.
yeah. And it's not, it goes back to like the whole emotions thing. It's not that they're showing a specific type of emotion. It's that there's nothing there to show emotion.
Yeah.
You look into their eyes and it's like there's nothing there. It's weird.
But then it goes back to like, we were talking the other day how there's people that can't quite imagine the same way that other people can.
That's true.
Dude, the
That's true.
level of depressed that I would be if I could never imagine things.
Oh, that would be terrible. That'd be
Which,
terrible.
yeah, I mean, there's just like, how could you read a book? How could you like just,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's so many little things you couldn't do. Like that little, when you're shaking the presents, wondering what's inside. Like, what are
Yeah.
you imagining? Just black? Are you just
Like you
like
couldn't do
thinking of the
art.
name of an object?
Like you couldn't cook.
Not
You
well,
could
you wouldn't think.
no, because
Like you could follow a recipe to
yeah,
the T. It'd be hard to like kind of play around and like kind of envision
for
like what do I
sure.
want? Like I want it to be a little spicier with like a hint of sweet at the
Yeah.
end with a
Well, I didn't even know because basically I didn't know about that until you said something either. Because I always had it in my mind that like if I envision like this Diet Coke, I can put it over here and I can see it in my head. I know
yeah.
what it looks like. So for people not, I, I guess we could see in the comments, people that are watching this video. I'm really curious on how many people can't imagine objects or even in color. Do some people imagine in black and white?
Yeah, and
Is that a thing?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Think,
Which is weird because I can like imagine both. I can imagine
yeah,
both in the same scene.
yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I can think of a garden right now with a bunch of plants just flourished and
And
vegetables.
like
I
cut
don't
down the
know.
middle, half black and white, half colored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really strange. I did not. What was the other thing we were talking about that we didn't know? Was it dreams? Do some people not have dreams?
I don't.
You don't have dreams?
Oh, hardly ever. It
Have
is
you ever had a
rarely.
dream?
I had one last night, but I only remember like a little bit, and that'll be it. But then I'll every once in a while I'll have that one that I like remember vividly
Yeah,
because like the last one I remember that I can remember like spending some time in the dream was I was with my grandma Kathy.
yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but is there some people that legitimately have never had a dream?
Just never dreamed. I don't know. Because yeah, it does suck. Most nights it's just I lay down, I look at my
Yeah,
phone, close my eyes, black until
yeah,
alarms are going off.
yeah. Depending on the week, I'll dream pretty frequently. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's on a pretty consistent basis. But not having dreams because in my head, there's times where I'm having a dream, and I'm pretty sure that's what heaven is. To
yeah.
some extent, when I'm in a good deep dream and I'm walking around with, you know, my grandfathers that have passed or whatever, and we're just enjoying time together, I almost think on some level that is what heaven's supposed to be.
That's what really scares me about dreaming.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
like, how do
yeah.
you know then it's not a dream anymore?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
just made it through the gates because
Yeah.
something happened in your
Well,
sleep.
too, I've had nightmares. Not just I always have to clarify it for people. Not the nightmares where, oh, somebody broke in and stole my dog or, this happened. They're really dark and scary.
Yeah,
They're never yeah, they're never just a simple thing,
more of like the psychological
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah, no, yeah, not somebody broke in, smashed my TV, ripped open my couch. I don't know. Because I've had people say, I had a bad nightmare. I'm like, oh, what happened? Man, somebody just walked up to my car and smashed my headlight. And I was like, what the F, dude? And I'm like, that's not a bad dream.
That's a rough one, but
yeah, that would suck. But that's not what I envision a nightmare is at all.
Yeah.
So like it's always, yeah. My nightmares I've had some bad ones. Where it's like, man, if that's the other side of light, I don't. I'm gonna try to be as good of a person as I could possibly be because that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But and I don't know.
I say it could have something to do with the monster movie marathons at 11 o'clock.
That probably, it definitely contributes to it a little bit. I have a broad range. I was just talking about this earlier. I have a pretty broad range of movies. There's no kind of movie that I like in particular more than another. I like all kinds of movies at different times.
Like all genres.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like I'll mess around. I'll watch a romance. If I'm feeling frisky, I'll throw on The Notebook.
Oh no, there's definitely a tier to mine. There's a tier to mine. Comedy, probably number one.
No.
Action.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can.
Probably number 2. Sci-fi 3. Don't care what anybody says.
Dude, sci-fi is easily 2. Comedy 1, but
you think action's below sci-fi? Yeah, it probably is for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know, because like with action, I tie in like 300, Troy, Gladiator.
Oh, that's
Saving Private Ryan.
No,
like those are action drama, yes, but action.
Saving Private Ryan, whereas I would say
none of those are sci-fi.
But like 300 and Gladiator, definitely sci-fi. You have to throw them in there.
But sci-fi. They're not science fiction.
But man, I don't know.
Because, that kind of bumps the action genre up a little bit. Whereas, like, sci-fi, I mean, you got the Star Wars, the Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely there too then.
The Alien movies.
Yeah,
Alien versus Predator.
Predators, all the Predators. Terminators. Oh, definitely sci-fi's too.
Like,
sci-fi's definitely.
I would even consider, like, what was that? The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yep. Yep. And then you got like Interstellar.
The Day Before Yesterday. Interstellar. Like, sci-fi. Sci-fi's probably number 2.
Yep, sci-fi's number 2. But I want to clarify with comedy. We're talking like Super Bad. We're talking like Observe and Report. We're talking Super Troopers. We're talking Step Brothers.
Oh, it's just the best, man. This is the end.
I'm not talking Bruce Almighty. I'm not talking like
and even then, those are pretty good.
They're not bad. But when I think of comedy, there's got to be some level of inappropriateness to that movie for me to really think it's funny. Like Old School? Dude, Old School with Will Ferrell, and then you got Vince Vaughn, and then who's the other guy's name? I don't think Owen Wilson's in that. But that is such a funny movie, dude. I fucking laughed my ass off to that. Dude, I just watched it the other day. I was just whatever.
Yeah.
They're like Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers is awesome.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh, dude, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Yes.
That one's good.
That one's awesome. I mean, there's just so many good comedy, but it's like the old comedies.
That like
from like
comedy's probably number 1 for me because they're the easiest.
Yeah.
And the rewatchability on a comedy. Like it's way easier for me to laugh at the same joke than it is for me to rewatch the same action movie 3-4 times in a row.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched Superbad. I can't. Or Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, dude, I watched a ton.
Yeah, Role Models. I've watched the shit out of too. I mean, like, tell her you miss her whispering eye. Like, what? It's so stupid.
Grown Ups.
Grown Ups is another one.
Billy Madison, man.
Yeah. I'm really excited for
any Adam Sandler movie, honestly.
The new Happy Gilmore. Yeah, I like it. Some people hate Adam Sandler. I love him, and he's never been tied to anything fishy, as far as I know.
Not yet. I mean, as far as I know.
Adam Sandler is awesome.
Adam Sandler, David Spade, Rob Schneider, like none of them have been really caught up in anything.
And we cannot forget, Kevin James.
Kevin James.
I almost forgot his name. Kevin James.
We cannot forget.
We
crap.
Damn it. We cannot forget Kevin James. He's up there for sure.
Yep.
Old Will Ferrell's definitely up there comedy wise because
I haven't watched a whole lot of his newer stuff.
No, they all suck,
especially
dude.
that
It's all super.
one.
It's all man. It's like at some point, can we just stop trying to make certain groups love you and just go back to being funny? Who cares?
Because
who cares about that 1% that's going to watch you, Will Ferrell? How about we just put out some funny shit that you're good at? That
He
we
was
already
very
know is funny.
raunchy, very offensive.
Yes,
like,
and then
it's
just
comedy.
Cut off. You can't do that no more, Will.
Yeah,
like,
especially like you haven't been in enough.
Yeah.
So I doubt it's money.
Yeah.
I doubt it's about money. Maybe it's just something he's passionate about and wanting to do, but I'm not watching it.
Yeah, but when like 80% of Hollywood's trying to do that,
it's
trying to get 1% of watch them. It's like, who cares about that 1%? I don't understand why you're doing this. And I mean, yeah, Will Ferrell had that SNL skit where he like put his foot up and he had like the American flag, like G-string, basically.
Yeah.
He's got his leg up and he's got his crotch in this guy's face and he's talking and this chick's walking back and forth looking at him and shit. It's like, dude, that's the Will Ferrell I miss, especially now as an old guy. Well, I don't know how old he is, but he's older now. He could put out some seriously funny shit.
Yeah.
Being old and raunchy.
And just not caring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's finally at that. He's at the age where he can just not give a crap and get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, oh, man. Yeah, he could really put out some funny shit. Man. Shit. I have to piss so bad.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
I have to piss.
Dude, it was like
so
10
bad.
seconds before you got that camera situation. so I've been just sitting here fighting it.
Dude, I'm fighting it so bad. And I think we're probably in, I don't know, 30 minutes?
Probably, at least. Because, it's almost 40 now.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, I mean.
Well, right on.
Yeah. That concludes the 5th episode. I'm pretty sure it's the 5th.
If
I'm wrong, I guess they'll make it.
Probably the 5th time I've worn this, too.
Yeah, hey. Grateful Dead or Shed. Listen, sponsors wise. Oh, by the way, we are not sponsored by Coke
or Grateful Shed.
Yeah, or Hurley. I would love to.
We just got to start naming everything we're wearing. Or North Face.
North Face.
Definitely not North Face.
I would love to be sponsored by Under Armour.
Yeah, that would be a sick one.
Wink. I'm not a very good winker. Not a good winker.
Dude, I've never been either.
Yeah.
Which is such a dumb thing at 25 that I think about that sometimes.
Dude, and I used to
gotta fight it. I'm not a sexy winker.
Yeah, no. And I used to do the rock shit for the Michigan State players when I was I don't know, 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because my aunt dated the brother of a guy that played on Michigan State, which was actually the team that Nick Saban coached.
Oh snap.
And I used to do the rock look, and now I'm 26. I can't even get close to doing it now.
You just look confused.
Son of a bitch. Damn it.
Yeah, no kidding.
But shit. Well, all right, now I actually have to piss. Really bad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good night, and maybe Thanksgiving if we don't have another episode out before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
we might.
I'm hoping. Yeah, we should try.
Though. I mean, definitely.
We got Thursday, Friday off, so if it's not before, we could do it day of, day after.
Yeah, and then we should we can get something filmed before the Notre Dame game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep, Notre Dame versus USC.
Notre Dame watch party.
Yep, Notre Dame. That would be awesome if we could do that.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey, Notre Dame. I don't want to disclose where we live.
Not too far away.
Yeah, not too far. So, give us a shout out. OxBros, episode 5. All right. We will catch you guys later. I'm about to pee all over the floor.
Yeah, you have a good one and a happy Thanksgiving.